Honestly, just forgive and move on with your life. A lot of the times we hold on to grudges, right? We hold on to grudges about people who have wronged us in the past. Stuff like that. People who have hurt us mentally or physically. People who have bullied us throughout the years. All of these things. And then we hold on to these things. Even 10, 20, 30 years later. And it makes us a bitter person in a sense. We become, very angry as an individual. We get angry over so many different things because of the fact that we hold on to so much baggage, right? But I think it's important to just honestly just forgive, yourself. Not even just forgive the person who wronged you in the past, but you should also forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for dealing with all of that shit. Forgive yourself for the action that you didn't take, right, to change. You need to forgive yourself because by forgiving yourself, you are moving on with your life, and you're able to find better. I strongly believe that in life, as you get older, things start getting better. I strongly believe that. And even for me, like a lot of the times, I'm dealing with thoughts about the past. Yesterday this guy cut me off when I was driving, or my coworker was being a dick or something like that, said a nasty remark. But man, just gotta forgive. When I started just forgiving them, I don't have to forgive them to their face, but if you just say to yourself, I forgive you for what you did to me, oh my god, man, it's like you just have a sense of peace, because your peace of mind is the most important thing. If you don't start forgiving others for the things that they've done to you, you won't have that peace in your heart. And it's okay to never forget what they've done to you. Maybe it was a very traumatic experience, right? Somebody may have hurt you really bad. It's okay to not forget, but I think it's important to forgive. And you're not doing it for the other person, you're doing it for yourself, so you're able to move on with your life. I've seen a lot of crazy situations with people where, abuse and stuff like that. And years down the road, they refuse to, move on with someone because they have this fear, right? And it's understandable. But I think that if you're able to genuinely forgive yourself and forgive that person for what they did to you, which is a very difficult thing to do. I understand that. You need support. But I think it all comes down to you sitting with yourself and just saying, you know what? In order for me to progress in life, in order for me to move on, in order for me to be more in the present moment, in order for me to progress and level up in life, I have to forgive. Forgiveness is one of the most important things, one of the most important skills to have, because it makes you more in the present moment. As I said, you are more focused on what you're doing. And a lot of times, we think about these people that have wronged us, and then they stay in our head for years or a long time, rent-free. But they don't even think about us for a second. So it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of your energy by holding grudges. And that's something that I've had to work on over the years, is that I was, in my 20s, and, I was holding grudges against a lot of people. I was holding grudges against my exes for the shit that they did to me. And then years later, I refused to be in another relationship with another woman because I was so like, my perspective on relationships changed into a negative manner because I never forgive myself. I never forgive the other person. I always thought that this is how it's gonna be. Like, this is how all relationships are gonna be. They're gonna end up being terrible. They're gonna end up being toxic. They're gonna end up being ended. That was the mentality that I had in the past when I was in my 20s. But now that I'm in my 30s, I realize that that's all bullshit. That life does get better, and that without having the skill of forgiving yourself, you're not opening up your heart to new opportunities. You're closing your heart when you don't forgive. You're closing your heart to new friendships, new relationships, new, as I said, new avenues of opportunity that are out there just waiting for you. But if you don't forgive yourself, or don't forgive the others that hurt you, you're not able to do that. And honestly, it's such a great feeling to be able to perform forgiveness, ask for forgiveness. Even for you as a person, if you committed a sin, if you committed something wrong, and if you're a believer of God, when you actually pray to God and stuff and ask for forgiveness, isn't it such a great feeling? Don't you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders? It's the same as forgiving other people. It's the same concept. When I look at people who are religious, when I look at Muslims, when I look at Christians and stuff like that, who are heavily practiced upon their religion, when I see them, I can see their sense of peace. I can see it in them. And a lot of the times it's because they've become content with their lives, and they've also asked for forgiveness, and they seek forgiveness, gave forgiveness, received forgiveness. But even as an individual who even doesn't even believe in God, if you don't believe in God or whatever, it's still the same thing in the sense that you need to be able to forgive in order to move on with your life, in order to have peace and well-being. A lot of people who are, who have lost their loved ones because of a murderer or something like that. Someone, this is a bit of a deeper topic, but the ones who are able to forgive the person who committed that crime, man, for them, it's like a weight has been lifted off their shoulders because they were able to forgive. And they didn't do it for them. They didn't forgive for them. They did it for themselves. They did it for the person that they lost. They didn't do it for the accuser. They did it for their own peace. And that's what we got to start doing more in our daily lives. Anything bad that happens to you, any bad thing that someone has done to you, whether it's big or whether it's small, practice the art of forgiveness. Practice forgiving yourself as well. It's not just forgiving others. You also got to forgive yourself for any bad or any harm that you've committed upon others too. You got to be able to forgive yourself. Because if you're not able to forgive yourself, you're holding this emotional baggage, and it gets worse as you get older. It becomes larger and larger and larger inside of you, and it causes you to. And one day it's like a ticking time bomb. You're just gonna explode, and you're gonna rage, and it's gonna cause a lot of consequences towards the people around you, towards your whole life. So that's why you need to be able to also forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for for hurting others. That is honestly the only way for you to live a better life, to live a happier life, live a more, a life with peace. The ones who are suffering the most in life are the ones who believe that they can't change, or they believe that they're just who they are, and then that that they're just a victim in this world, and the actions that they've caused is just it's just them, but they never ever like forgiven themselves, right, for what they've done. And sometimes some actions in life can also be unforgivable. That's understandable too. But the point is, if you're able to be with yourself and be with your thoughts, and you're able to forgive yourself, internally, there is a sense of peace, and it's the first step towards changing as a person.